see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, get us any.
What are we talking about? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play. Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! Can't wait! Let's go!
What's up, everybody? Let me fix this. Welcome back to another episode of Sideline to Sideline. If you are noticing not the usual suspects on the screen, we have a lot of weird things going on. Kyle's got internet issues, can't have the Prince of Production. He's got no internet tonight. Godfrey is over in London. He's flying to Germany to watch the Sunday morning football game. He's hanging out in London right now. And Garda 3 will be back next week. But that's okay. The show must go on. We have the man, Freddie Facts. I call it Freddie Fiction. He has some of the worst takes in all of NFL sports, but that's all right. He's here to entertain you. Freddie Henderson, Freddie Fiction. How you feeling tonight, Freddie?
Man, I'm good. Did you say Godfrey's in where?
He's in London, baby.
Man, hey, bro, right now I wish I was him. Godfrey, stay safe and have fun, brother.
And I got to introduce a new guy. I was there when this man first seen snow for the first time in his life, just 4 years ago. I got Archie, the architect, Lyle Archer. How you feeling tonight, Archie?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm good. I'm glad to be a part of the cast tonight.
So Archie, if you don't know, but you probably don't, he's never been on the show, is a Jaguars fan. He's a little Duval-ish. Duval. You got to have like, is it Duval? I've always wondered, is it 4 U's? Is it 5 U's? Does it matter how many U's?
You at least have to put 4, but if you put 5, you're really from Duval.
Okay, so it's 4 or 5.
Yes,
I just want to make sure I want to screw it up. Now, before we get into this week's action, the games that are happening tonight, you could possibly talk about tonight, the Bears and I'm kidding. All right, nobody cares about tonight's football game, but that's all right. We're going to talk about it because we're degenerates and we talk about football. But before we talk about this week's football games, we got to talk about last week's football games. Just a few things that I just want to go over. We'll start Monday night where the New York Jets had another offensive collapse. Zach Wilson, still not the guy, never was the guy, never will be the guy. I think that one of the biggest failures of the Jets this season was not going out and grabbing a quarterback the moment Aaron Rodgers went down. And even if he was a backup and you tried Zach Wilson for a few weeks, that would have been okay. But you look what the Minnesota Vikings did with a worse record than the Jets. They lost Kirk Cousins. 2 days later, Joshua Dobbs was in the house. You know the guy's names. Won a football game Sunday where the Jets are still trotting out Zach Wilson. And the thing that is the biggest shame to me is the Jets would have won the Super Bowl this year with a competent quarterback. They have the best defense in football. They have one of the best special teams units in football. They have a great head coach. If Aaron Rodgers did not get hurt, my prediction of the Jets going to the AFC Championship game would have been spot on. No doubt in my mind. Can I ask? I'm going to start with you, Lyle, because you're new to the show. Do you think the Jets should have stayed with Zach Wilson? Do you think they should have threw the white towel in and given up on the season? Or do you think they really believed that Zach Wilson could have been the guy this year?
Well, I do believe that when Aaron Rodgers went out, they believed that they had the talent on the team to make it happen. However, I think they did realize also we need to go out and get somebody, but they made a decision to not mess with the locker room, to not come in and say we don't believe in this guy because he has played poorly. We're going to bring somebody in to take your spot. Let's give this guy a chance, and hopefully maybe he can make us proud. Maybe he can redeem himself. He's the number 2 overall pick coming in after Trevor Lawrence. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm a Jaguar fan. I wasn't sold on Trevor Lawrence after year 1. So the same thing with Zach Wilson. I'm not sold on him, but he's kept his team competitive. He's kept them in the race. If Aaron Rodgers is able to come back before the end of the year, this could be a game changer that we might all be talking about, that they made the right decision.
Has he been competitive, or has the defense been competitive?
Because
I've watched all their games this year, and I don't think Zach Wilson has kept them in any game. I think the defense has kept them in the game, and a couple times you watched other teams completely collapse down the stretch. I'm an Eagles fan. We collapsed versus the Jets to give them a win. Freddie over there, I think this week he's a Giants fan. I could be wrong. He's literally proclaiming victory in our group chat. He's talking about the Giants are on a winning streak, and then all of a sudden the Giants collapse. The Jets win that football game. Freddie, let me ask you a question. Is Zach Wilson, can he be the guy? Can he keep them afloat?
Gene, his own coach don't want him to be the guy. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen Robert Silas post game conference the other night. They asked him about it. You know, would he be interested in getting Trevor Siemian in the game? And he couldn't answer the question. So what that tells me, Lyles, is that he really wants to make the change, but the front office won't allow him to make the change. I mean, it is god awful. It's god awful in New York. I mean, you just think about a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, that went out and made a trade to go get one of the baddest men in my land that I call a bad man. And the first drive down the field, this man goes down, and now you stuck back with Zach Wilson. I mean, to me, I would have went out trying to get another quarterback. You can look at a guy, Carson Wentz. I know a lot of people hate on Carson Wentz, and he deserved a lot of the blame that he get. But let's not forget that when he was in Philadelphia, he did have some good moments, as long as he was used right and as long as he was healthy. So he's still young. He's a guy that, if you put him in the system, don't ask him to do too much. But he can be better than Zach Wilson, where when you need him to make big plays where he can. Because let's not forget, Carson Wentz was once upon a time MVP in this league.
Well, Freddie, can I stop you here real quick? I want to talk about the 2017 Jaguars. We had a guy named Blake Bortles, right, that led us to an AFC championship game, and Miles Jack was not down. I don't know if you remember this. Again, Miles Jack was not down. The Jaguars
One of the worst calls ever.
Okay, he was the worst call ever. That was a Patriots Tom Brady. But your guy, Zach Wilson, I compare him to a Blake Bortles. I'm just being real. A high draft pick, has high talent, has all the weapons around him, just not the guy. But when the defense prevails, makes you look like an all-star. And that's where the Jets are right now. Their defense is magnificent. Their defense is one of the best in the leagues. And Zach Wilson is learning from this defense. Keep it close, make short passes. Let's do it, and we're going to be in the game. And the defense wins games.
Not just that, they really should depend on the run game a lot more than they do. I mean,
if you watched, Freddie, I don't know how many Jets games you watched this season. 4/5 of their offensive line is out.
I was about to bring that up.
Second part of that is every team that plays the Jets has an 8-man box. Every team that plays Zach Wilson has an 8-man box. They're not playing too high safety. They're not playing cover 2, cover 3. At best, they're playing cover 1, and they're doubling Garrett Wilson over the top. But normally, you're looking at an 8-man box, and they're making him dice up zone defense constantly. He can't do it. So you brought up a topic in the middle of that. It was perfect segue, because another thing that happened this past week is another team who's really kind of not in the hunt but we'll say they're in the hunt, had a quarterback go down. And that team started their backup quarterback and lost a football game, realized he stinks. They went out and signed Carson Wentz. That's the Los Angeles Rams. Before I get on my tangent, and if you guys watched Wire to Wire last night, you probably already know where I'm going here. But before I get on my tangent on Carson Wentz, my question would be, why did it take Carson so long to sign? Situations that happened in Minnesota, New York. The New York Giants are starting Danny DeVito's little brother this week. What are we doing where Carson Wentz can't play football in the NFL? Freddie, help me understand why he didn't have a job until this past week.
Man, it's hard to believe. Like I said, this kid was, when he came to your Philadelphia Eagles, hey, he was he was the star. I mean, we've seen talent. We've seen the MVP talent. I was a huge Carson Wentz fan. I loved him. But he got beat by Nick Foles, winning the Super Bowl after he got hurt. And then he went to Indianapolis, the Colts, and then it looked too good. And respectfully, a lot of it can't be blamed on him because they had other issues as well outside of Carson Wentz. I don't know. I mean, it's just hard. To me, it's hard to believe that he can't be a star, at least be a backup quarterback in the NFL, because he's better than a lot of these backups that we're seeing.
Well, he's a locker room disaster. Let me get Lyle's opinion on this because I'm gonna go a little ham on this one because I know why he wasn't on the team, and I just kind of want to see if someone else brought that topic up. Archie, being a Jags fan, watched the collapse of Carson Wentz. Week 18, 2 years ago for the Indianapolis Colts. All they had to do was beat the lowly Jacksonville Jaguars to make it into the playoffs, and they got stomped. They got stomped in that football game. Why wasn't Carson Wentz on a team?
Because he loses big games. I mean, let's just be honest. He doesn't know how to finish it. Carson Wentz came onto the scene. He made a name for himself with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, he had Doug Peterson as his head coach as a quarterback guru. If you haven't seen what he's done with Trevor Lawrence after we got rid of Urban Meyer, who ruined Trevor Lawrence, look where we've come. He was not hoping this guy get to where he needed to be. He's not a game changer. This guy is not a guy that can win big games. He's never has, and he never will. That's why teams don't want him.
Well, you know why Carson Wentz wasn't on a team and all these other backup quarterbacks were? And I'll make it very clear for you. And I know the answer, but a lot of people don't like to admit the answer, say the answer. I don't care what side of the fence you are. I mean, it's not a political show. We're not going to be political about it. But Carson Wentz, outspoken, this is the truth, right? He's done 3 things completely wrong, ruined locker rooms in Philadelphia, Indianapolis, and Washington. I don't care you're an outspoken conservative. I'm cool with that. Whether you're conservative or liberal, it doesn't matter to me. Very outspoken, very anti-vax, which I don't care either. Don't care if you do it or don't do it. It's going to rub people the wrong way in the locker room. That's fine. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when he got released from Washington with his 3rd locker room that didn't like him. Who do you go out and hire to be his quarterback coach and work with him? I don't know. John Gruden? What was the last time we seen John Gruden? He was writing racist emails to DeMar Smith of player personnel. Carson Wentz is oblivious to the outside world, right? Like, you can have an opinion and be – Drew Brees is a perfect example of someone that can be an outspoken, conservative, Christian, and still make it in the NFL, have no issues. Carson Wentz, very similar, outspoken conservative, in a league that's 67% African-American, and you hired the guy that got fired for writing racist emails. It's a bad look. It is. Look, once again, don't care what side of the fence you're on. You're not going to win a locker room over that way. It's not going to happen. So Carson Wentz is going to go to Sean McVay, redhead, knows the offensive system, has a ton of schemed up plays. We'll see what he does in Los Angeles. I just think that he's made a lot of really poor mistakes. He's also an absolute turnover machine at the end of football games. Lyle said that perfectly. If the game's on the line and Carson Wentz has the ball, he's throwing it to the other team. Go ahead, Freddie. I want to hear the hand raised. I appreciated that.
Hey, Gene, that might be the best situation for him. You're talking about somebody that's trying to turn their career around, somebody that you could be a backup to Matthew Stafford, where Matthew Stafford have been, we're talking about a prime example of a leader as a quarterback, because we've never heard those problems out of Stafford. You've always heard of him, even when he's in Detroit, a good citizen, good person, good leader, good quarterback, kind of help mold him into the person that he needs to be. Like, for an example, when D'Angelo Russell got drafted in the NBA, we all know the immature stuff he did. But when he went to Golden State was under Steph Curry, it kind of changed his image, kind of changed the way his leadership and stuff. So I think this could be the same situation for Carson Wentz under Matthew Stafford.
Good. I've seen the hand go up. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just got some things to say. Like Carson Wentz is nothing like a Matthew Stafford. Let's be honest, okay? Like Matthew Stafford is a proven winner. He had Megatron, all right, and they still. If you're comparing him, you're comparing him to losers, right? Because Matthew Stafford, he won a Super Bowl with LA, yes, with a superstar team. When he had the best team around him with Detroit, he didn't. What did he do? He had Megatron. They never even made the playoffs. It was the craziest thing. You have this talented team, and he couldn't do anything with it. Now you took him to LA. He did something the first year. What have they done since?
No, I agree, but I'm talking about the leader aspect of things, not the playing wise. I'm talking about the leader aspect of
He
things.
is a leader. He definitely has the locker room built in. We can't stay too long on here because we've got to move. We're already kind of 20 minutes into the show. So let's just recap one more thing from Sunday. One team, most televised game in the NFL this year, the Dallas Cowboys traveled to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. I kind of want your opinions on the game before I give mine. I think it's very obvious what happened in this football game. But Freddie, what happened in the football game? What did you come away thinking when you watched that Eagles-Cowboys game?
Man, oh man. You talking about, I was going to the game. I said, okay. I hear everybody saying that the Cowboys is legit. I keep hearing them say that they are for real. But I'm trying to see how they for real. Okay, let me see them go win against a good team. Because we've seen them what they did against the San Francisco 49ers. We've seen what they did to the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see if Dak Prescott. Yeah.
They lost to the Cardinals.
I know. Yeah, let's see. Okay, you're going against Philadelphia. You're going against that defense. You're going against Jalen Hurts. Let's see if Dak Prescott can stand up in high moments. And did we or did we not get the answer? I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Dak Prescott had a great game. He had about an 80% good game that game. He played phenomenal.
He had a 99% good game.
Yeah. He actually outplayed Jalen Hurts.
Okay. I'll even give you that.
But you know what the difference is? Jalen Hurts knew when he had to make plays. That defense knew when they had to make plays, they had to make plays. Everybody talked about Dallas's defense.
I'll give you an X's and O's breakdown, Freddie.
Yeah.
You're giving me I'll give you an X's and O's breakdown. Archie, what did you see when you seen that game?
I thought it was typical Cowboy football. Okay, the Cowboys were here. The Cowboys had a chance to win it. The Cowboys had a chance to put their name on the map and say, we are the number one team in the NFC. You know what they did? They said, we're the number one team that can compete, but we're not going to finish. We're not going to finish. Don't put the game on the line with my team, with my quarterback, with my coach, because my coach is the one that's messing this all up. They think Mike McCarthy is the answer. Wrong. And he doesn't know how to coach this team. He doesn't know the talent he has on the team. This is the most talented team in the NFL. Jerry Jones has paid the players that need to be paid.
I'll give you the X's and O's breakdown.
I'm listening.
For 59 minutes and 30 seconds, I watched that football game, and I thought the Dallas Cowboys looked like the better football team.
I would agree. 100%.
And they drove down the field. They get down to the 1st and goal on the 6-yard line with 27 seconds left on the clock. Here's the thing that a lot of people forget. Anybody know what the first play was on 1st and goal at the 6? Do you remember what that was? It was a false start.
False start, yeah. Moving back 5 yards.
But the play call itself that McCarthy gave Dak Prescott was a QB draw. You've seen the play starting, and he's starting to drop back, and he starts to run up the left side as a QB draw, and he's wrapped up, and then they blew it dead for a false start. So now it's 1st and 11. With 27 seconds left, 1st and goal from the 11, what's the only thing outside of turning the ball over you cannot do? You cannot take a sack.
You cannot take a sack. We need to do slants. We need to do quick. Get the ball out of the pocket quick. 1 to 2 seconds, a quick slant, boom. We're in the end zone. If not, we're QB sneaking. After that, get in there.
I look at it this way, Lyle. I would have took 4 shots at the end zone, 4 passes at the end zone. With 27 seconds left, you have 4 shots at the end zone. But no, Dallas took a sack on 1st down, clock ticked down. Then they threw a bomb instead of spiking the ball and resetting. Then they took a delay of game penalty to move them back 5 more yards and set them up with a 3rd and goal with 5 seconds left on the clock from the 21-yard line.
As you know what Stephen A would say. They did it again. Hey, what'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? I warned you. I told you it was going to happen, and it happened again.
It definitely did. So we got a lot of things going on this week.
This week is a big week, especially right here in my backyard in Duval County. We got the San Francisco 49ers coming to Jacksonville, Florida, a sold-out crowd. We are doing standing-only tickets. That's how full the stadium's going to be. And we're going to bleed that red, make it teal. You're not coming to our house. The bank is locked down, baby. Come to the Duval Bank, baby. Your card will be declined unless you're wearing a Duval Jaguar teal representer jersey. You heard me?
We will get into that game. That is the game of the week. One of the 2 games.
It should have been flexed to a prime time, just so you know.
I don't disagree with you. I actually think it helps your team that the game is at 1 o'clock, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, under the sun in Jacksonville. It's hot. Oh, it's hot in Jacksonville.
But we'll get there. We start with Thursday Night Football. We got to talk about it. It's the game that we're pre-gaming tonight. So you have the Chicago Bears and the Carolina Panthers. Game is in Chicago, Soldier Field. Justin Fields still not ready. You got Baggett versus the 1st overall pick, Bryce Young. Who do you like in this game? Both teams are awful this year, 1-7 and 2-7. They're projected to have the number 2 and number 3 pick in the NFL draft at this point. Who do you like in this game, Carolina or Chicago?
I like the Bears. The Bears, baby. They're at home. Justin Fields is a higher caliber quarterback than this guy that played at Shepherd College, something like that. Like, have you look this guy? I'm not clowning him.
Oh, Bryce Young?
No. Bryce Young played Alabama. I know where he played, but the quarterback for
Tyson Baggett.
Yeah, I think he played at Shepherd College. Have you ever heard of that?
No,
me neither. He's in the NFL. The team that's going to win is going to be the Bears. You got Justin Fields behind this. He's going to lead that team.
He's off. He's not playing.
Oh, who's playing? Oh, it's Matt
is starting.
The irrelevant. You know, now that I know that, I got Harper. He just hasn't performed either. He's small. They're saying he's underperformed. He's got small hands. Like, I haven't seen them do something. I don't know. This is a toss-up game, just to be real.
It is a toss-up game. Who you picking?
I'm not betting on this game. It's a 50-50 coin flip game, you know?
I remember this game. It was played out a few weeks ago. It was played out on Thursday Night Football just a few weeks ago. It was not the Bears and Panthers. It was the Bears that did not have a win traveling to play against the Commanders in Washington. Same game. I like the Carolina Panthers tonight. I think they don't have a first-round draft pick, so you know they're not tanking. Give me the Carolina Panthers tonight to win this football game. I think Matt Eberflus trips over his own shoes. I think the guy's one of the worst coaches in all football. I think he's absolutely terrible, and I can't wait till that Chicago organization removes on from Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, because they are ruining Justin Fields, ruining that kid.
Well,
Make it very clear.
They're taking his career and running it into the ground because he has no weapons.
100%. So this game tonight, I think that the Carolina Panthers couldn't stop me or you running the football. I think it's a huge, huge night for Deontay Foreman from Chicago. Now, on the opposite side, Adam Thielen is out of the slot. I don't think there's an absolute prayer Chicago has it stopping him in the slot. They don't have a slot corner. Their slot corner is like literally legitimately like a walk-on to the NFL. It's starting in the NFL. It's absolutely hilarious. This will be a very high-scoring game on Thursday night. They're notoriously low-scoring football games. This will be a high-scoring game. I like Carolina to win the football game outright. I like Bryce Young to rely on Adam Thielen across the middle, and look out for a big game from Jonathan Mingo, their second-round wide receiver. I think he'll have a decent game. I think Carolina wins this one 31-20.
I'm going to take
the
opposite, Gene, and I'm going to go that the new guy with the Bears comes in and says, you know what? I got home field advantage. We're going to win this game. We are the Chicago Bears. We've gone through this week. We've been clowned. We've been defaminated. We are here, and we're going to make our stadium proud. We have a history of winning, and we're going to play defense tonight. And defense wins football games.
All right, well, let's move on to Sunday. We have another London game, Germany game, another NFL overseas game. I don't know what Germany did. I think what it was they were so excited that they got Kansas City versus Miami that they were like, all right, slow down. We're going to give you a load of shit now. We're going to give you the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. What? That's got to be the worst game to ship over to Germany. German football fans are not going to want the NFL to come back after watching this game. But you got to talk about it. It is a prime time game, 9:30 in the morning, kegs and eggs. Who do you like, Patriots or Colts?
Oh, I'm a AFC South, so I'm going Colts, baby. Like the Patriots.
Even you lied with your division, like when they're playing other.
You know why? Because the Patriots have a guy that comes from Jacksonville, Mac Jones. He played at Bowles High School here in Jacksonville. I've watched him play. Great guy. The Patriots have not put talent around him to be successful. So with that being said, I've seen what I know what the Colts have. They have Gardner Minshew, who is our old quarterback. You know, he played for the Jags.
Yeah.
You got AR-15, who's out right now, getting fixed up. I believe in Minshew. Minshew Mania can make it happen. He's the quarterback. He's the guy. This new guy that you're talking, we can't do that. We're not going to do that. Over in London, not today. Jim Irsay is going to make sure the Colts are ready to play on primetime football at 9:30. Get your eggs and bacon ready because the Colts are going to, hey, you better get lucky. Make your you because you're getting lucky, buddy.
I'm a Shane Steichen fan, always been one. Great offense coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. I like Gardner Minshew, the 1-2 punch of Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. I think they're better on every spot on the football field. I like the Colts in this one also. I think Minshew shines, and I think the Colts beat the Patriots. I'm not going to waste too much time here. Let's talk about the offensive rookie of the year. The offensive rookie of the year, it's as easy as it can. He's also an AFC South guy. C.J. Stroud of the Houston Texans threw for 5 touchdowns this week. They had to go for 2-point conversions. They couldn't kick field goals. They had no kickers. Kymir Fairbairn hurt himself in the first quarter. C.J. Stroud is going up against the hottest team in football this Sunday. They got to go travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The 1-3 Bengals, now the 5-3 Bengals. Coming off victories over Buffalo and San Francisco. Sitting versus Houston must look like dessert to them. They've already went through the appetizer. They already went through the main course. This is just dessert. It should be a treat. Who wins this football game and why isn't it Cincinnati?
Well, Gene, I'm going to talk to you right now. It looked like a treat, right? My Jaguars played the Texans, and it looked like a treat. They put 37 on us. Okay? Like they hung it up at our own house. Houston's the real deal. C.J. Stroud should have been the number 1 pick in the draft. The dude's legit.
I feel like that he's proven that at this point.
He has 2 interceptions over the whole course of his year right now. 2.
Are you not a D'Amico Ryans fan?
I love him. I hated him because I'm a Jag, right? So D'Amico Ryan's always tackled us. I didn't like him, but he's a good player. He's a phenomenal coach. I know what he brings to the table. What I'm going to tell you right now is who wins this game. It's going to be the Tech. They're going to win this game.
They're going to go into Cincinnati and beat them.
Joe Burrow is going to take a back seat. He's going to wish he played for Ohio State. He said, I went to college at Ohio State. I played for LSU. He's going to change that and say, I should have played for Ohio State. His time's coming to an end. His reign without Jamar Chase, without the line.
Jamar's trending to play. I just seen a report. He's trending to play. Back issue after that drop pass that cost me $2,000. I'm not going to bring up my same game parlay that I had over 70 yards for Jamar Chase. He finished with 44.
I do over 70 for him every time, and he loses for me. So
I think the Cincinnati Bengals win this football game. I think they win it rather comfy. I think Houston's coming off that emotional win at home. They got to travel on the road versus the hottest team in football, who just beat San Fran, who just beat Buffalo. The Houston Texans are a good up-and-coming football team, but the Cincinnati Bengals need to hold serve in that division. With all those successful teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 5-3, the Cleveland Browns, and obviously the class of division right now, the Baltimore Ravens. I like the Bengals. All right, next game on the docket, speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, we got to talk about it, right? George Pickens almost got my you got to be kidding me this week. The Steelers won a football game this past week. They're 5-3. They beat the Tennessee Titans last Thursday on Thursday Night Football. The game-winning touchdown was scored by Deontay Johnson. The entire team is celebrating the game-winning touchdown with the exception of George Pickens because he's not involved enough in the offense. I seen a play earlier in that game where George Pickens should have caught a touchdown pass.
Oh, he had
his right foot in.
He had a touchdown pass thrown to him.
How do you not get your right foot in there as an NFL wide receiver? That is incredibly bad. George Pickens pouting and then saying, get me out of here. I hate it here on Instagram after the game, after a win. That's a great way to get picked up by another team in the NFL is by boo-hooing your team after winning the football game.
You know who else did that? Mr. Brown from the Steelers, kind of the same team. He did it. If he wants to be just like him, guess what? You're going to be out of the NFL in the next year. So keep it up, keep talking, and you're going to talk your way out of the NFL. He's a great receiver. He doesn't have the greatest quarterback. I don't believe in as Kenny Pickett as the guy. However, Kenny Pickett gets the job done, but he's not the franchise quarterback. To come out and say you want out, you're being a prima donna, and you're reminding myself of Antonio Brown, who I want no part of.
I think a lot of teams are souring from diva wide receivers. If you look at the last 4 or 5 Super Bowl champions, the only one that's had a diva-type wide receiver was the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019, 2020 season, went with Tyreek Hill. Outside of that, it's all been very role player type receivers. I mean, I'm not going to call Cooper Kupp a role player, but you don't see him divish yelling for the ball on the sideline. Go look at each team that's won the Super Bowl. They're not winning with diva wide receivers, and they're not winning with overpaid running backs. These NFL teams are very focused on guys that will get you over and to the next level in the NFL. George Pickens is not doing himself any favors. They play the Green Bay Packers this week. The Love Boat got back on track last week versus the Los Angeles Rams. They faced a backup quarterback, and that was a game of who wants to lose this football game. All Pittsburgh can do is win football games. They're 5-3. They've trailed in every football game this season. Kenny Pickett's got a quarterback rating of 76 during the first 3 quarters of the NFL of any game this season, and a 118 in the fourth quarter. Guy figures it out come fourth quarter. Who wins this football game? Green Bay at Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go with at Pittsburgh. I'm going Pittsburgh, even though because I'm not sold on Jordan Love. I'm not sold on his talent. I'm not sold on his surrounding cast. I'm sold on Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, when you have a 7-point game win, this guy wins 92% of the time. He's very good on a 1-point score game. I love him. I like him at home. Kenny Pickett might be the answer, but he has a running back and a receiver core that's ready to get the ball. I'm going Pittsburgh.
I like Pittsburgh also in this football game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay took advantage of a lot of the inside turmoil. When even they asked Mike Tomlin about it, he's like, yeah, he was upset. He's like, he's always upset, and we'll calm him down. I want someone that's upset. And he played it off well like a good NFL coach does, but I think there's a little inside turmoil. You don't pout when your team scores the go-ahead touchdown to win the football game. It's just something you can't do.
No, you should be
divide in the locker room.
You should be celebrating with your team at that point. No matter you're an individual, but it's a team. And that's where you come together as a team.
Speaking of a quarterback that's on the other side of the football, Will Levis has looked good and has been named the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans going forward. They're going to travel to Tampa to go against a pretty hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers team who just came off a really bad loss to the Texans. But they're 3-5. Tennessee's 3-5. Who do you like in this football game, Tennessee or Tampa?
I'm a Will Levis fan. I like what he's doing, but honestly, I think Baker with Tampa just finds a way to win. He's a veteran. He's going to lead his team. They have a very good linebacker crew. The defense with Tampa is very good. They've lost a couple of close games here recently. I believe Tampa finds a way to pull it through. Derrick Henry and Will Levis are just not going to find a way to make it happen.
I like Tampa in this one too. It's in Tampa Bay. I think Baker Mayfield finds a way to win the football game. It'll be interesting to watch. I'm not a Will Levis guy.
Me neither. I'm not. But I like what he's done. He fits the mold. He looks the part.
I like what he's done too.
He when you see him physically, he looks like the guy. He makes the throws. Sometimes decision making is bad. I think in 3 to 5 years, we're going to be talking about Will Levis.
Maybe. I still can't remember that. I still can't forget the guy that couldn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State. And that's
I just heard the guy that beat everyone last year to go to the national championship game. So
who are you talking about?
Will Levis with TCU.
Will Levis not from TCU. Will Levis from Kentucky. You're talking about Max Duggan from TCU.
Oh, okay. You saw
Will Levis is cannon arm, played for Kentucky. He got drafted. It reminded me a lot of Zach Wilson coming out. Poor decision maker. However, he has looked good in his first 2 weeks. He's not a winner though. He's never been a winner anywhere he's went. He lost the starting. He lost the starting job at Penn State. Sean Clifford, who was a 5th round draft pick this past year for the Green Bay Packers. He transferred to Kentucky, threw the ball around the yard a ton, made a lot of interceptions, a lot of mistakes, but people fell in love with that arm. A lot of guys look really good without their shirts on, throwing 50, 60-yard passes at pro days.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was Will, you're right, Max Douglas versus, yeah.
You threw me off there. I'm like, the Natty. I'm like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But let's move to the next game. We're skipping over 2 intentionally. We will get back to them, I promise. The New Orleans Saints are going up against the Minnesota Vikings, 2 5-4 football teams. How about Joshua Dobbs? We're talking about a guy came there Wednesday, didn't know the playbook, didn't know half the teammates' names, was thrown into action like literally 11 minutes into the football game, and had 2 of the best scrambles you ever see down the stretch, led the Minnesota Vikings to a road victory at Atlanta over Taylor Heineke and the Atlanta Falcons. This week, Minnesota's got a tough matchup themselves. They're going up against Dennis Allen and that New Orleans Saints defense. I think this is a tough one. I really think it's a tough game to prepare for, but the game is at home. Justin Jefferson will not be playing, even though they activated his practice window. Jordan Addison will be playing, though. Who do you like in this one? New Orleans at Minnesota.
I like Minnesota at home. Justin Dobbs has another week under the belt. He's under the high hopes. Like he's living on a high life right now. He didn't know players' names. When he came into the locker room, they were cheering his name. He has studied this week. He has prepared this week. You know what he wants? Another victory. When he walks in that locker room, he wants to have that feeling again because, he earned it. Not because he was the new guy that didn't know anybody, because he earned it, because he earned the players' respect. I feel like Justin Dobbs with Minnesota wins the game hands down at home.
I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints. I think the one thing that always travels is defense. I think Dennis Allen will get after Joshua Dobbs this week. And I think Derek Carr will do enough with Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara. I'll take the Saints in this one slightly, but I would love to be wrong on this one. Yeah, I would love to say the Minnesota Vikings win and see Josh Dobbs continue to be successful. I would love that. Next game on the docket. We're going to move into the 4 o'clock games. I promise you, we have 2 1 o'clock main events we will be talking about. I'm going to skip over Atlanta, Arizona. The reason being, no one cares. Second, the 4 o'clock game of the day, in my opinion, the Detroit Lions, 6-2, are traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Who do you like in that one? Lions, 6-2, at the 4-4 Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, I'm going Lions all day. Dan Campbell has changed that program around. They got a quarterback that's phenomenal. The defense is amazing. That's a team that just believes. They missed the playoff last year by 1 game. They deserve to be there. They deserve to be there this year. They're in a statement year to say, hey, the Lions are back. We're not the laughingstock. We're not going to be the last team in the NFL anymore. So with that being said, it's now time for the Detroit Lions, just like my Jacksonville Jaguars, to step up and say, we're here to stay.
I like the Lions for a different reason. I've said this since Brandon Staley's been the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. He finds ways to lose football games. Look at their 4 losses this year. Just look at them. The Miami Dolphins, they were down 2 points with the ball. All they had to do was get in the field goal range. Didn't do it. Tennessee Titans on the road. They lost to the Titans. They had the ball in the red zone, 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line, kicked game-time field goal, went 3 and out in overtime, lost a football game. Dallas Cowboys had the ball, down 2017, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. All they need to do is kick a field goal and tie it. Lost a football game. The Chargers find ways to lose. They do. And the Lions find ways to win. And the 2 things that travel anywhere you go are defense and a run game. And Detroit has both of them. I think it'll be a very close game.
Gene, don't forget this. The Chargers last year were up 27-0 on the Jags in the first round of the playoffs. And
we didn't forget. We make fun of them every week for that.
Yeah, they found a way to lose.
Kyle said, no worry about the Lions on the road. I do. The Lions on the road are not the same team they are at home. But I tell you what does travel. Versus Baltimore, they couldn't run the football. Versus the Chargers, they'll be able to run the football. David Montgomery's back this week. Jahmyr Gibbs, the 1-2 punch, and their defense will get after the quarterback. I like the Lions in this one. I think they'll control the clock. Give me the Lions. What's up, Nick? How you feeling? Nicholas Hurtado in the chat. Hopefully his son Nico's listening too. Shout out to them too. Next game on the docket. The Washington Commanders are traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Now, Geno Smith, talk about a guy that has looked good. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, right? He's looked good and he's looked terrible. In their 3 losses, Geno Smith has been god-awful. Terrible. At Cincinnati, at Baltimore, he's been terrible. In their wins, Geno's Geno. They wrote me off. I didn't write back. Washington, coming off a very emotional win. They're tanking. They traded their 2 edge rushers. They go up to New England and they beat the Patriots on the backs of their defense. And Sam Howell is developing. Now they got to travel across the country, take on the Seahawks, who've reeling. They just got the doors blown off them. Who do you like in this one? Seattle or Washington?
I like Seahawks. Pete Carroll is a guy who's got his team ready to go at home. They had a mishap. He's going to chew his gum, pop some bubbles, and say, hey, guys, let's get back. Sam Howell's great. Washington's got new ownership. They're under a new organization. They're ready to make moves. The time is not theirs yet. It's still going to be the Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks in this one too. And I'll point to Pete Carroll and I'll point to DK Metcalf and I'll point to that cornerback room. You're good. I love Devin Witherspoon, Reek Woolen. I love Bobby Wagner for them. They added Leonard Williams. I think that's 12th man is going to be fired up. I think Seattle knows how to play consistent football, and I think they'll win this football game over Washington. Nick says Seattle, don't know which Washington team shows up. Ton of inconsistent plays. Kyle says Geno in the 12th man. Seahawks. John Suggs, like Howell, better, but East Coast teams hate going to the West, and I agree with the man. And we got 2 more games to go over before we get into our main event. We're saving the main event for last. We got the New York Football Jets going to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders with Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce took over that football team and did an incredible job. Spoke to the locker room after Josh McDaniels went on his rant about this, and that. And be honest with me, and all the players trashed him. Antonio Pierce got him fired back up. Josh McDaniels pulls him in his office and goes, "Don't you ever talk about the Patriots again." That day, Josh McDaniels was fired. Antonio Pierce and that Raiders team stomped a mud hole in Danny DeVito's little brother and beat the Giants badly last week. They looked inspired. The Raiders have 2 of the best players in football on each side of the ball. You have Devontae Adams, a top 5 wide receiver on anybody's list. And you have Max Crosby, who, in my opinion, is an underrated edge rusher, could be defensive player of the year. He's 4th or 5th for me, only behind Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and TJ Watt. I have him right behind them, but Max Crosby's incredible. I think the Jets team has given up on Zach Wilson after this past week. I think it's a bad spot for them. Give me the Raiders in this one. I love the Raiders to win this football game.
I'm going to tell you right now, you might be right on this, but I'm going to go a different route. The Raiders are fired up. They got a coach that is in the interim that they want to be the head coach. He's got a point to prove. He made some comments to the team, and McDaniels got upset, said, "Don't ever talk about the Patriots again." Like, you're right. He's passionate about that. There's something about this Jets team that believes that Aaron Rodgers is coming back. If they can just win enough games, stay in enough games to be competitive for the playoffs, they might have a shot for the Super Bowl, even though the whole world wrote them off when Aaron Rodgers went down.
Are you going Jets?
I'm going Jets in this game on the road simply because they have a pride that now is the time of the season. It's week 9. This is week 9. You shit or get off the pot. And they're going to show up and show the world, we didn't need another quarterback. We have the quarterback right here. We had to give him confidence. We had to let him know we believe in him because we kind of showed him we didn't believe him. We brought in Aaron Rodgers. We didn't believe in him. We said Aaron is the savior. He watched Aaron all of training camp. He watched what Aaron's doing. I believe Zach Wilson this week shows why he was the number 2 overall pick.
I want to shout out my man, Jeremy, kneecap biting, the Motor City Lions. Jeremy, appreciate you stopping by in the chat. I'm telling you right now, there's no chance. There's no chance that the Jets win this football game. I love the Raiders.
If the Jets do win, bring me back on the podcast next week because I'm going to roast you.
Okay. I would love to. No chance. That Raiders team is ready. Antonio Pierce got them ready. And I said this earlier. I'll say it again. I think the Raiders end up making a mistake. I think they take a run to the playoffs, and they'll still not hire him as the head coach. They'll hire another schlub offensive coordinator from another team that no one's heard of, thinking they're the smartest guys in the room, and lose again. But Buffalo, Buffalo's going to kill them. I kind of want to skip over this really because we have 2 games that we got to break down. We only have 10 minutes left. 2 best football games of the week. We'll start with your guys, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're hosting the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers losers of 3 straight. Got to travel across the country, coming off a bye, though, to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, Travis Etienne, all they do is find ways to win football games. I'm going to ask you who you like in this game, and I'm going to ask you to try to take your heart out of it and try to give me a logical football opinion here.
All right, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I'm kind of torn. However, what I do like about this is we have the number 1 overall pick versus Mr. Irrelevant. And we're going to show the world why you get the number 1 overall pick versus the last overall pick? Why do you get a quarterback guru named Doug Peterson to come in and coach your team, to elevate your quarterback that you've made the franchise guy of your team, the face of your franchise? We're going to show the world Jacksonville Jaguars are not a laughingstock. We are here to be put on the map. Everyone says, oh, Jaguars, easy game. We've been that easy game. Fine. We're not that easy game anymore. When the San Francisco 49ers come in with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, with their offensive tackle who's a legend, that they're all Trent Williams, when they're all back healthy, guess what we're going to do? We're going to punch them in their mouth and say, welcome to Duval, the city that don't sleep, where we don't pay taxes on our paychecks because we are a tax-free state. Go back to California and go home because you know what? We're here to stay. And we got the beach 10 minutes down the road. We're going to go put our feet up after the victory and have a cocktail for victory, baby.
I know you haven't watched a ton of my shows, but I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. I'm a huge supporter of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've loved Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence since their days at Clemson. Sunshine.
Let's go.
I love Jacksonville. They're not winning this football game. Chase Young, Nick Bosa are going to cause Trevor Lawrence to turn the football over. The 49ers are not going to lose 4 straight. Kyle Shanahan will be able to move the football. He'll really simplify the playbook for Brock Purdy this week. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football. And the 49ers defense, this will be, listen, you lost Robert Saleh. You replaced him with DeMeco Ryans. You lost DeMeco Ryans. And I'll say this, right? Steve Wilkes hasn't done a terrible job, but he hasn't done a DeMeco Ryans job. Give him the bye. He's going to be on the sideline for the first time this week, calling the plays from the sideline instead of the booth. I think the 49ers win this game, and I think they're rather hefty. Well, Gene, I love the Jaguars, though. I think the Jaguars take a run.
But, Gene, you remember, the Jaguars are coming off a bye, too. We've been in London. We came home. We won. We went on the road and won. We're on a bye week. We're fresh. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but we got a quarterback guru as a coach, Doug Peterson. I know you got Shanahan over there, but
I would love for Doug to beat Kyle Shanahan. You have no idea. I want to be wrong on this one, Archie. I want to be wrong.
You're wrong.
I hope I am. I hope I am. I hope
to be back on the podcast next week with 2 victories.
I would love that. The last game of the week. This is the main event. This is the best game of the week. The best division in all football. The black and blue division, the AFC North. You got the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson is back, taking on the favorite now in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl, the Baltimore Ravens. Who do you like in this one? Browns at Ravens. It's in Baltimore. Earlier in the season, Baltimore went into Cleveland, beat the Browns with P.J. Walker as their quarterback. Deshaun Watson will be back this week. No Nick Chubb, obviously. He's out for the year. But the Browns defense and the Ravens defense are number 1 and 2 in football right now. Who do you like in this one? Browns or Ravens?
I like Ravens. Lamar Jackson, I've loved him since he came out of Louisville. I'm a Florida State fan, so I watch this guy. The dude can pick you apart. He can hurt you with his legs and hurt you with his arms, and he's accurate. Right now, he's on a mission to show the world why he got paid what he got paid. I'm going Lamar Jackson with the rest of the crew. Deshaun Watson's just got issues, man. He had too many back rubs. He paid out too many people, and he's made too much money. He's ready to just retire. I'm being honest. He's ready to retire. His back hurts.
I personally believe that the Baltimore Ravens are the better football team between the 2 teams. However, the Browns are going to win this football game because their defense is aligned perfectly to beat this Ravens team. Now, if you were listening last week, I predicted Seattle to beat Baltimore. I was dead wrong. But I also am 64% on the season against the spread, documented picks every single week. So I could be wrong a few times, but I'm right more than I'm wrong. I like Cleveland this week because Jim Schwartz's defense plays a man across the board. They press coverage your receivers, and they do not let you run the football. There's no one on that Ravens team that can stretch the field properly. I think this is a low-scoring, ugly AFC North battle, and I think that if the Ravens win the football game, they won't cover the spread. The spread's 5.5. It'll be a very close game, a field goal game. I got it 21-18 Cleveland.
I'm going to go on top of you. I'm going to tell you it's going to be 28-20 Ravens.
You got the Ravens winning and covering.
Oh, we don't play the spread where I come from. It's either win or lose.
I love it.
Big. Like, I'm a wrestler. You don't win by 1 point or like it wasn't that close. You either got your hand raised or you lost.
You're from the Dominic Toretto school of winning.
Yes, sir. That's
It
old
doesn't
school.
matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. Archie, I've had a hell of a time talking football with you this week. I appreciate you hopping on last minute. Kyle's got the internet issues. He'll be back next week. Godfrey's over in London. He'll be back next week. But, man, I would love to have you on different segments whenever we can get you on because you obviously know your stuff. You got great energy, great enthusiasm. But before you get off the show, I need 2 quick things. You can give me one with your heart, and that's okay, and I'll respect that. But I want your Super Bowl prediction because we haven't got it from you yet. I want your Super Bowl prediction, and I want your real Super Bowl prediction. So you can give me the Jaguars, whoever for your one.
I'm going to give you my heart.
Real one.
I'm going to give you my heart. My heart is Jaguars versus Philly.
Okay, I would love that.
And then I'm going to go
versus his former team. It would be incredible.
Well, because my dad is we didn't have a team. So I'm born in '86. Jacksonville didn't have a team. You're either a Dolphin fan or you were a Buccaneer fan, or my dad was from Oklahoma, so he was a Cowboy fan. So I became a Cowboy fan, obviously. But in '95 I became a Jaguar. So don't get it twisted.
I love it.
I've never swapped. I've been a Jaguar for 25 years, waiting for the birth for us to go. If you want my heart, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Cowboys instead of Eagles because I think they might find a way to switch it up. And you know what? I'm going to go 49ers. I'm going to say the 49ers find a way. They get healthy. I don't like the quarterback play though. Maybe this is wrong. I'm going to go Eagles. Eagles versus in the AFC. I know it sucks, but just Pat Mahomes is too good, man. He finds a way to freaking win all the time. And I feel
Suggs, that is my prediction before the season started. I did it selfishly. I had Eagles Chiefs 2.0 with the Eagles getting the win. I did it very selfishly because I'll tell you right now, I make no bones about it. I don't want to beat the Jaguars. I don't want to beat the Ravens. I don't want to beat the Bengals. I want Andy Reid and I want Patrick Mahomes. I want the best quarterback and best coach you can find. I want
Andy Reid, Doug Peterson. Let's go. This right here will be the matchup that we've been dreaming of.
Well, that's all we have for you this evening. If you didn't catch us live on Facebook, we will be on Roku TV tomorrow morning. Check us out. I appreciate you guys tuning in, all the people in the comments. John Suggs, Freddie Henderson, my man, Kyle Edwards, Brandon Boswick, Derek Dempsey. And if I missed you, I apologize. Kneecap biting. If I missed you, I apologize. But Nick Hurtado, Nico Hurtado. Appreciate you guys. This is Sideline to Sideline. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. That's Archie the Architect. And we are signing out.